You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Wepa, my beautiful freaks and indie cinema warriors. It's your boy, Al Mega. And today, welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast because we have a legendary show lined up just for you. Because we're going to be diving deep into 50 years of blood, boobs, and brilliance with a master of madness. But we ain't stopping there because joining him is his brilliant and brave and slightly traumatized editor behind a brand new book called Lloyd Kaufman Interviews, and this is in your grandma's memoir, baby folks. This is your Troma Unleashed. Now, we're talking radioactive mops, fake Scorsese stories, punk rock diss tracks, and all the glorious slime that makes this man the indie icon he is. Him introduce the big boss, the legend himself, the godfather of indie schlock, Mr. Lloyd Kaufman. How you doing, baby?
Oh, Al, I've been interviewed by the New York Times and the major newspapers. Yours was the best interview I've ever had on any kind of podcast. New York Times adequate, but yours was terrific.
I heard about this. When it comes to influence, I'm a boss, and you're a legend.
Well, you've got a lot of talent, energy, and you're funny. Now, there's a guy named Matt Klickstein. Is he around?
Oh my God! Yeah, your poor traumatized editor right there, Mathew.
Holy cow!
Klickstein, baby. Woo! What's popping?
Wow, Mathew.
Hey, Lloyd.
Hey, look, you're on the beach. It looks great there. What is that, Santa Harmonica or something?
No, this is my blanket from the Roseanne Arnold show right there.
Did you sew them yourself?
I
knew it myself.
So guys, welcome to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I'm really excited to have you here. This is going to be a lot of fun because the book is a lot of fun, folks. It's out now in shops right here. Lloyd Kaufman Interviews, beautiful book edited by my man here, Matt. So let's get into this. Lloyd,
wait a minute. I want to read this book. Where do you get it?
You can get this on Amazon, right? And what was it? University Press of Mississippi website
you can get it anywhere, wherever you get your books.
Okay.
Yeah, University Press of Mississippi put it out, but it is available anywhere at bookstores everywhere. There's a paperback version, there's a hardcover version, there's an ebook version. You can get it anywhere.
So let's say you want people like I suppose you you don't know how to read. Then what do you do?
Well, then you pay someone else to read it for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, I heard of a place, TromaDirect.com, that's selling it. You get a free autograph with it at TromaDirect.com.
That's news to me, actually. Cool.
Yeah. By the way, in Cincinnati, we brought the books. They all sold out at $7 each, I think. No, I'm joking.
You should be charging way more for that, Lloyd.
Yeah, we jacked up the price. I think it was $30. But I signed a lot of them. Yeah. So people like it. They love the cover. I thought it was terrible, but I just hope we don't have a trail of suicides because of Matt Klickstein.
I hope not. Let's talk about this, Lloyd, because 50 years of Troma madness crammed into one book here. How do you guys even pick which brain-melting, slime-dripping stories even make the cut, basically here? Because your life's basically a toxic Avenger fever dream, right? And it's all here, all the stuff you said.
Well described, but I got to turn this over to Matt because he spent 5 years on this book.
5 years.
With no, just love of art and, book writing. I've written 7. I've written 7 that other people have written, but including James Gunn, Mr. James Gunn. But
Trent
the
Hager.
point is that you don't make any money. Yeah, Trent Hager. What's his name? Joe. What's his name? The Gremlins guy. He wrote one of my books. No. Oh no, that was Demi Moore. Anyway,
Demi Moore did write one of Lloyd's books. That's true.
Oh, what?
Yeah, she was going through a tough time right before The Substance.
To me, only got it
together. Yeah.
To me, only got about halfway though. To me, halfway. That's French.
So, bro, you're
All right, I'll shut up. Matthew, talk about the book. I'll promise I'll shut up.
To answer your question, this comes up a lot. It definitely was tough. Lloyd, obviously, like myself, has the gift of gab. He loves to talk. He talks a lot. He'll talk to anybody. He's been doing it his entire career. So there are thousands, tens of thousands of interviews with Lloyd Kaufman going all the way back to even before I started with the book. I started the book around 1981. But, I mean, there are interviews with Lloyd going all the way back to the mid-'70s. And that's a lot of what took most of the time, was going through all the interviews, figuring out which ones. Figuring out which ones.
This is the cover I wanted, but Matthew refused. But actually, this is a actual prop from The Power of Positive Murder. I've read it. It's very, very good. You got to read this. In fact, Mark Torgel, he says a new Mary Shelley explodes on the screen. Unbelievable. Anyway, go on, Matthew. Okay. I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah, we all have ADHD here. But yeah, so I had to go through a lot of the interviews, all the interviews, as much as I could. And I wanted to make sure that each interview brought something new and different to the story. Because as anybody who knows Lloyd knows, he's had a lot of lives in his one life that he's led. And even though he's now 98 years old, he has had 5, 10, 15 different lives. So it's pretty amazing. And I wanted to make sure to kind of represent each part of his life and each part of his career, going all the way back to when he used to mine for gold in Australia and when he was a surfer in Hawaii and all the other different things that he's done. He helped to build the Empire State Building. So we know there was a lot that we needed to talk about. And he was doing interviews all the way back to when they were doing it on the Telegraph and whatnot. It's really
I worked with Rex Ingram. Rex Ingram, he was a baseball player. He was everything. Great actor. No, there were two of them. I think he was just the actor, the one I'm talking about.
You got to making me feel that you were playing for God's team in baseball back in the day, and you were the catcher for Jesus.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I'm all for Jesus. In fact, the new Toxic Avenger comic books that they have a whole series coming out where Toxie and Jesus are paired together in the same.
This is actually true. That is actually true.
That's why I mentioned that, because I found that hysterical when I saw that match. So there's going to be a lot of fun. So now, Uncle Lloyd, let me ask you, you got to spill the tea here. What's the wildest interview in this book that made you go even for yourself? Holy kabuki, man, did I say that? And don't skimp on the gory details.
Well, I think the earlier interviews are embarrassing because some of them I clearly were just there to piss off what I said was basically to piss off the reporter, whoever was interviewing me. And there's one case where they don't you want to make art? And I said, I just want business. I want to make money. That's what I'm a dirty Jew. That's what they want. And of course, it's in the interview. But I got no. It's up to Matthew. There's stuff in there that probably I shouldn't have said, but I think it's all true, Matthew. Don't you think things that I said 50 years? Well, my grandmother told me exactly what's going to happen. She predicted the sand castle is melting from within, and we're going to go down the drain. And Trump is making it faster. Yeah, and that's why we're having the big march April 5th in Philadelphia. It's a national hands-off March day. There are going to be millions of people. And Troma team will have a group there with Toxie, Kabuki Man, starting at noon on Chestnut Street in Philadelphia. Awesome. And it's going to be great. Noon. Pardon?
You're going to be there too?
Yeah, I'll be there. Toxie, Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD, and Matthew's favorite, Turkey Man, will be there, as well as...
Dolphin Man is my favorite. Dolphin Man. I'm a Dolphin Man guy. Yeah.
He's a little difficult because of his, he's gluten-free. Hard to find a fish that don't.
What about the Killer Condom? Is the Killer Condom going to be there?
No, Killer Condom went to another company.
Oh, bullshit!
He wouldn't re-sign. But Killer Condom Man.
So now you're back to doing stuff raw, no condom free. Got it. All right.
Right? Why not? We go commando. Who needs condoms? Wait a minute.
I got to tell
useful. You young people out there, use. Oh no, don't use. The Pope says don't use. I went to Episcopal school. I'm totally fucked up. But,
I got to say though, real quick, Al, before Lloyd talks about something completely irrelevant, that he was 100% right. And one of the things that we're all really excited about with this book is it's not just about Lloyd and it's not just about Troma. It's about the entire evolution of independent cinema, and as well as so many of the things that were going on at the time that he was actually doing these interviews. It's really important for people who are interested to know these interviews were not interviews that I did with Lloyd myself over like the last couple of years. They are interviews that other people did. I annotated them. I kind of fact checked them and did a few other things with permission and whatnot. But it is the interviews that he did at the time that they were happening. So 1981, 1987, whatever it is. So you're really seeing from a guy who speaks his truth before anybody else even knew what that phrase meant. And he was talking about globalization. He was talking about social politics. He was talking about the economy. I mean, you see him talking about what's going to be going on with video stores, with Blockbuster, with Netflix, with the internet, with political stuff, with technology, with the environment while it was happening. So that's really what's cool in all seriousness about the book. And it's coming from a guy, Lloyd Kaufman, who obviously does not mince words and does not hold back. And he has been like that ever since he came right out of the womb.
That's what I wanted to ask you. As you would do in the book, what was maybe the one interview that you researched and you said, holy shit, this guy is like, wow.
Well, that's really, when that question comes up, I always say the same thing, which is, if there wasn't one particular interview, although I agree with Lloyd that his earliest interviews were pretty wacky, but that's the whole thing, is that it's not like he just has become the angry and bittered old curmudgeon that we see before us now. He has always been this guy who just is spouting out all the things that he's thinking and feeling, even when he was young. So it's not like he's been trashed through the Hollywood system and the independent film system and came out the other side and said, fuck you. He's been saying fuck you since day one. Yeah. So he invented fuck you. And so that's what's really most interesting. You would have thought this young kid who's just coming out of Yale, he didn't even go to film school, he went to Yale, would be have a little bit more propriety. But no, right out of the gate in his mid-20s, he was already talking like this guy who was like, screw the establishment, screw it all. I mean, he was punk rock before there was punk rock. And that's what you see in these interviews.
Great, Lloyd, let me ask you here.
Yes,
so you've been punking the film industry since Nixon was sweating in the White House. So what's one moment in this book where you stick it to the suit so hard that they're still crying in their caviar?
I can't. There's so many of those.
It's the whole thing.
But I also know that you held a
toxic,
part,
just
right?
the Toxic Avenger alone provides everything you need, and that was made in 1982. It was way before. It's about the environment, and people were upset with the movie. Al Gore got a Nobel Peace Prize. We got shitted on. And now, of course, Toxic Avenger, they now have a $50 million reimagining of the Toxic Avenger. $50 million. It's going to open April 29th in 2,000 theaters.
August 29th.
Yeah.
August 29th. I'm sorry, August 29th.
Yeah.
I remember that movie when it originally came out on video cassette, and my father gave me $6 that weekend. It was $2 to rent the film at the local store. So I said, all right. And he goes, pick one for you. And the lady loved me, and she told me, hey, this just came into the store. It would happen to be Toxic Avenger. I said, ooh, I'll take it. Let me tell you, when I put it in, my father was like, what is this? And when he watched it, let me tell you, he was crying. To this day, he mentions that movie, how much he loved it.
That's great. You ought to show him Bloodsucking Freaks. It's on Troma now. Troma now.
He's probably seen it. He's a freak himself.
Oh.
You know what I mean? He be hiding when he watches from my mom. So,
so
50 years of Troma means 50 years of haters. So what's the funniest diss you've ever gotten, in your life or insult that made, you just laugh. You guys are crazy, man. You've been here. You've been a freedom fighter. I know as a freedom fighter, you've probably been attacked in so many ways.
Well, I've got pushed around a little bit occasionally. I actually pushed. I did. I didn't really get into a fisticuffs, but I did push it. We had a party on a boat in Cannes Film Festival, and we had this volunteer who I was on drugs or something. He was a French guy, and he just kept in my ear for an hour. Blah, 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 blah. He must have been coked up. and I took them like this. I was cold sober, and I took them. Just amazing. Went right with me. Took them off the boat. Security guys got rid of them. But and I punched the kid at summer camp. I punched the kid.
Yesterday, he did it yesterday.
My father told me that the only time he ever got into a fight was he was in the army and some guy made some remark, Jewish thing, and he went after the guy. And I was in third grade at summer camp, and some boy said something like that. It was a snotty little camp, and I went after him only because my father did. It's so stupid.
Dig it.
Now I'd run. Now I would run away without a doubt.
I hear you, man. We reach a certain age, it's like, listen, our bones are a little bit more frail. Let's chill. So,
yeah, exactly.
So this editor extraordinaire that we have here on the scene, how do you balance Lloyd's wild ass chaos with making a book that doesn't scare off the normies? I mean, do you ever think, this is too Kaufman?
Yeah. No, that's a really good question, Al. And I wanted to have as much of Lloyd and Lloyd's anima in there as possible. I mean, you can't do a book about Lloyd Kaufman at all, especially if it's going to be his words, his interviews, and worrying about that kind of thing. But you're right. We also, Lloyd himself said he's even offended by the cover. Everybody else does love it. And we were all very excited about it. But at the end of the day, look, it's a university press. University Press of Mississippi is the top pop culture scholarly publisher in the country or in the world. This series that it's a part of, Conversations with Filmmakers, has been around for 25 years. They've done Martin Scorsese, they've done John Ford, they've done Orson Welles, and now finally, deservedly so, they've done Lloyd Kaufman. But I will tell you, in the beginning, there was a little bit of discussion about whether they really wanted to do it or not. And I kind of really had to kind of keep pitching it and saying, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, Lloyd Kaufman's not just about, the blood and guts and everything else. He's got some good political agenda in what he's talking about with environmentalism and diversity and some of these other things. But more importantly, we go really into the history of so much of the impact he's had on the film industry. A lot of people don't know this, but he was helping out some of his mentors and such when he was younger, like John Avildsen. He found and got set up the stairs for the run in Rocky. Going up the stairs in Philadelphia. He found the discotheque in Saturday Night Fever. He was the production manager on My Dinner with Andre, one of the best movies of all time. So he did so many. He worked with Kirk Douglas. I mean, the man was there for all of this stuff. Wow. And, we really wanted to kind of show that side of Lloyd too. And so I think that evens out some of the stuff of like when we have in there an excerpt of the Reddit AMA he did, where he's talking about going and having a bad burrito and taking a shit. So, we got it all in there together.
Love it. So let me go to Lloyd here. You're a walking, talking middle finger of Hollywood, baby, right? How does Lloyd Kaufman interviews prove that you've been right all along while they're still churning out that CGI nonsense?
Well, Al, are you, what is your, are you a writer or director? Are you very articulate? It's curious.
I like to write, I have fun.
Do you have a side hustle? How do you pay the rent? What do you do?
I have a day job, and this is my side hustle.
If you don't mind, what's your day job?
I work in technology. It's basically customer service and tech support. So I gotta be mindful and talk slow to people.
Yes, old people. The Social Security's been cut off. I can't. I'd give up. I just say fuck it. I mean, what are you going to do? I can't manage any of that technical stuff. You must get a lot of old people. Pain in the ass. At any rate, back to Mathew. You said something about what were you saying there?
What I was asking here is that you're like the
Mississippi
middle finger to Hollywood. So this book you can write all along. People are still doing that CGI, but you're bringing along the backness. How did you?
Yeah, he was asking how have you been proven right, Lloyd, and all the stuff you said over the years.
Yeah, at the end of the
day. Look at the theater. What do you call them? The exhibitors. I'm an exhibitionist, but not that a different kind.
Hey,
3 inches.
You don't have an OnlyFans? Come on now.
Oh fuck yeah! No, not OnlyFans. I can't pay. But there's tubegoer.com that Mathew told me about. That's very good. So if you can't get it in Kentucky, just so you know, you can get porn. You can get Pornhub.
They
Matthew.
can't get
Just
that
so you
chick
know.
in Pornhub. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a very good question. But the thing I was thinking about, I had something to say that might have been interesting. I can't remember.
But what's something, Lloyd, that you've said or done that
Oh, the
really proved?
Mississippi. I think it's great. I studied Chinese at Yale, Chinese studies. I learned to speak it, but I don't go back. I don't go to China anymore, obviously. But the idea of just trying to communicate and be nuanced and yin and yang. The Taoist is you don't Jefferson. You get evil with good. He made this greatest democracy ever, but he owned slaves. Yin and yang. He couldn't resolve that. There's so much of that in the world now, except people won't. There's no nuance, and you see it in our movies. You see the fact that we're still talking about fucking abortions. That's still a big issue in this country.
Yeah,
In
man.
fact, they've limited the rights of women. I mean, we talked about it in Citizen Toxie. We talked about plastic surgery, this bullshit that they do on teenage girls. You can look like me, and
Yeah.
then you look at I mean, a lot of the people are aware of that now, but the Academy Awards don't say one fucking thing about other than they all high five each other. And, they told, I don't even want to go into it. My wife is New York City Commissioner of film, all the arts, film and dance and games and whatever. And
Cool.
she has to watch these award shows, so it makes me watch them. Horrible.
I'm sorry.
Totally,
What's that?
total example of the elites. And proof is that Warner Brothers is in the toilet. Paramount's being taken over by some shit. I'm suing. I personally am suing Paramount because they're fucking us, and whoever is involved with it, and they're all crumbling. But the problem is the system's crumbling, and it started right after the war. The big Roosevelt gave a few crumbs to the here's a few crumbs because people were going crazy after the war, and they gave them a couple of crumbs of Social Security and some GI Bill and shut them up. But then slowly but surely you got these conglomerates, oligopoly that's taken over, and the proof is you need competition to advance.
Yes, you do.
You need startups. You need people to be able to push through the hymen of the mainstream. Whenever Troma pushed through the hymen of the mainstream, we're the ones who got fucked. And I hope that quote was in the book, but
Definitely
that's
a
one
few
of the.
times. And now everyone can see why it took me so long to curate all these interviews together.
Plus, you had to get it through Mississippi. Alabama's just celebrated its. In fact, what's his name? I learned this on Saturday Night Live. Apparently, it's the 205th anniversary of the statehood of Alabama. And if you want to see what Alabama looked like 205 years ago, you go to Mississippi.
Okay.
I mean, I did. I thought I learned on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, damn.
Education.
All right.
So
So
in spite of all that, Matthew got it through this very difficult Oxford Press and Mississippi and all that stuff.
Yeah, not Oxford.
University, yeah. And I think we're going to try to go down there and give them a free masterclass, a Troma masterclass.
Yeah, if anybody's in Mississippi, we're going out there May 7th. We're going to be at the Capri Theater. Yeah, they're bringing us out, and Lloyd's going to do his workshop. We're going to show a movie, and
well, maybe you could read from the book, Matthew.
Anything's possible. You never know. It depends on how drunk I get.
and by the time
no.
there,
What?
he's gonna have his QR code for his fans that he's gonna make right after this show. I put an idea on Lloyd, not forget about it. We're gonna see him on bare carpets and everything. Now, let me.
Hey, I'm in a movie about a bear that eats people, made in West Virginia, called Tie Dye. It's very good. Joe Bob is in it too. But he was remote. I was all there for 2 weeks. It's a wonderful
Did you
film.
get
It's
to wrestle
great.
the bear, and did you win?
Tie dye. What?
So did you get to wrestle the bear, and did you win?
I was bear. I wrestled something else, but that was. Don't tell my wife. That
Hey.
was in Sri Lanka.
So Matthew, let's get meta. Did Lloyd interview you for this book? And if not, what's one question you dread him asking you on air, even right now?
My goodness. Wow. I haven't been asked that question yet. I don't think I've known Lloyd for a very long time. I've known Lloyd for like over 20 years now. I'm sure at some point he's interviewed me informally, maybe. And then one question that I would dread him asking would be probably how large my breasts are.
Oh, Mathew, come on now.
He already knows that's what the problem is, right?
Yeah,
I only know how they feel good. I know that.
Grindr, so.
That was set of nipples you wouldn't believe, but actually I lost a tooth on one of them. It's terrible. I can show you right there. You see that?
I have it. I have it on my desk over here.
Yes, a good fairy brought you some.
That's right. He was a nice guy too.
That's it.
A very nice guy. Good partner, of course.
So,
anyway,
you know, I know you're busy.
I've done it all. I've done jumped out of airplanes on acid. I resisted the draft in the '60s. I've had some. My grandmother, on my father's side, was a butcher's daughter, but she read a lot of books, and she put stuff in my brain. I talk about her in the first book I wrote, which James Gunn wrote.
I'm sorry, I just got to go back to what you said just for a moment. What possessed you to jump out of a plane on acid?
It was the '60s.
Turn on.
Wait a minute. Turn on, turn off. No, turn on, turn out, and no. What was it?
Tune out, tune in, and drop out. Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah. And turn on or something. Anyway, Timothy Leary, who took, by the way, Otto Preminger, who Mathew and I talk about all the time, one of our greatest American directors. He did take acid before he made Skidoo because he dealt with the hippies. Skidoo, which was bombed. As you look at Skidoo today, Al, it's exactly what you got. It's when it came out, they thought it was a stupid, kind of dumb thing. You look at it now, the mainstream versus the young people. You got the mainstream, and in Skidoo, they're all mob. They're all mobsters, and then the young people are the beautiful people. And
it's a crazy movie. If nobody's seen it, it's a wild movie. It's got a lot of people in it too. Groucho Marx is the mob boss.
What? Really?
Yes. Groucho had to.
There's a scene in it where Jackie Gleason takes acid in prison. I mean, do I need to say?
Gleason.
Oh, and by the way, Harry Nilsson, the singer, he sings every single one of the credits at the end, even the Roman numerals in the copyright.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. No, it's a crazy movie. It's a really nutty movie.
I gotta peep this. Excellent.
You would have fun with it. You have a lot of fun with it.
I want to call into I call this the final splat now. The Troma 10th commandment, baby. Before we go here, I'm gonna go with Lloyd, man. Troma fans want to know what's the most batshit life lesson buried in this book that you tattoo on Toxie's Uzi forehead for the world to see.
Well, for about 10 minutes, free Mahmoud. What happened to that? Everybody went crazy. That poor bastard got picked up by the Gestapo. Hold off. There's a lot of noise about it. Suddenly, that was yesterday. Now, what's today? Oh, today is we just sent over our military plans to bomb the Yemen, and it accidentally the meeting where Trump's yes men they included the editor-in-chief of Atlantic Magazine. That's today. That'll be forgotten.
I thought you were gonna get the text to make the next movie and make fun of this.
Well, wait till you see Power of Positive Murder. It's based on Dostoevsky Crime and it's not based, inspired by Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. And I think Matthew's going to like it. And,
Lloyd just wrapped it recently. He's not. This is another thing he's not kidding about. Lloyd just finished his next movie, Power of Positive Murder, and the Positive Power of Murder, and it's loosely based on Crime and Punishment, and we're all looking forward to seeing it. But it's going to be the next Lloyd Kaufman movie. He's already got it in the can.
What?
I think it's one thing. I think nobody's ever given us anything in terms of awards. But there are hundreds of movies being made by the Troma School of Filmmaking. Even James Gunn, who's making, I'm in Superman, among other things. I'm in all his movies, except one. We claimed I died in the first one. But you can see the Troma there. You can see it in his early films. There are hundreds of these guys. Eli Roth, who played Mother's Day at his bar mitzvah. All these guys, and lots of young talented people who are Adam Pelletier, who stars in Power 5. He knows and he's terrific. He went to West Point, among other things. He knows every Troma movie that you can imagine. And they go out. He made his own damn movie recently, and they go out and make movies with a lot of Troma stuff in them. And the right themes. The new poultry guys reimagining the hen pyre strikes, and it's a women's poultry guys. So the point is, it's Mercedes the Muse is in Salinas, California, making Troma movies from the woman's point of view, and they're all on Troma Now. They're much better than fucking AMC. You have to pay $20 for AMC. Nobody wants to pay $20.
Troma Now is great. It's a streaming service. It's only $5 a month, and you get 3-month free trial. Everyone should check it out. You got all the Troma movies and thousands of other movies that they distribute too. This is another real thing. Check out Troma Now. It's really great.
And only $5, folks. $5 is nothing.
Well, don't worry.
It's cheaper than a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
Who drinks Starbucks coffee, man? I drink Bustelo at home. I make my own shit.
Attaboy.
Nice. I do my own. I do because I'm cough, man.
So
that went over your head there, Al. Thank you for laughing. No, I'm joking. That was terrible. You're very polite.
This is crazy.
And I'm a smoker. If you want to meet in New York and smoke a blunt, we could do that, baby. Don't you worry. Now, Mathew, let me ask you here. You're the keeper of Lloyd's legacy here. How does Lloyd Kaufman interview cement him as the godfather of indie anarchy while letting him troll the universe?
Because it's all right there. It's his words. It's not my words. It's his words. So much of what he says in the book, almost everything going all the way back to 1981 has happened, whether it's talking about what's happened with the video stores, with Blockbuster, with Netflix, with the internet, with global politics, with environmentalism, stuff that he said early on that people thought was just full of shit and whatnot, that he was just a clown and a goofball and a cartoon. Well, it actually started really happening. And it's no different than Rod Serling with The Twilight Zone or Ray Bradbury with Fahrenheit 451. For people like Aldous Huxley and Upton Sinclair and George Orwell. I mean, he was there first. He was saying it back when nobody was saying these things. And unfortunately, because most of what he was saying was bad, things got a whole lot worse. So now people are taking him way more seriously. And it's one of the reasons we wanted to do the book, because we wanted to show that Lloyd Kaufman and Troma is more than just blood and guts and tits and ass. I mean, we love that stuff about Troma. It's part of what makes it so much fun. But there's messages in every single one of his films. They're there. And many of them, most of them, he was talking about things way before anybody else was. And now everybody else is saying the things he's saying. But it's too late, unfortunately. So all we can do now is party and have some fun and watch these great movies over and over and over again. That's what people are doing now more than ever.
I know.
Well, again, just one point. One quick point. Art is a progressive thing. I took from Lumiere and Chaplin and Keaton, and if you look at our movies, you can't miss the stuff I've stolen from Laurel and Hardy and John Ford and Howard Hawks and Samuel Fuller and Jean Renoir and all that gang. And what's his name that you mentioned? Dinner with Andre. He was a big Troma fan because Stan Lee introduced me, and that guy, whatever his name is, the French guy, he married a beautiful woman. He loved comic books. And Stan Lee, I think we dedicated Occupy Can. We also killed Roger Corman, who really is the king of his last movie is Occupy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, we lost them in technology. Was this battery? Did he not charge? Oh, my God.
It's possible when it comes to Lloyd Kaufman. He just blips out of reality. We're going to find out he's not even really real. He's always an illusion in our head.
Apparently, there was this part of the matrix, part of the algorithm. Let's see. How can I do this here? So while we wait for him, man, are you guys gonna make any other appearances again throughout the year where people could check you guys out, get an autograph, get something popping off?
Yeah. We're actually working on a deal right now with Kevin Smith to do something at his Smod Castle in New Jersey.
Oh, nice.
Kevin is shooting his new movie and is pretty busy, but he wants to do something with Lloyd, so we're working that out. Hopefully sometime in September, so be on the lookout for that. And then next month in April, we're doing something in Fort Collins, Colorado, over by Colorado State University. Every Thursday, we're showing a different Troma movie, and we're going to have special guests come, and we're going to have people like Lloyd zoom in remotely, and Mark Torgel, who was the original Melvin from Toxic Avenger. We're going to show Canada the Musical, which was actually made around here over at CU in Boulder, and some of the people who worked on that movie are going to be coming out. So the best way to find out about some of the events we have happening is going to my website, MathewKlickstein.com. I've got the full list of the events, or you can check out Lloyd's social media. He talks about it too. We're building things, and I will say we're up for whatever. I mean, as long as people can bring us out, we're down to come and talk at colleges and talk at music venues or film venues or whatever it is. So we're up for anything. So if people want us to come out, help us to get there, and we're down to do it. We're probably going to be at Comic-Con. Lloyd's there every year. I'm usually there. So we're probably going to do some stuff at Comic-Con in San Diego.
You there then, because I'm going to be attending this year for sure. So definitely,
come on by.
Bad boy then. Make sure I get the signed.
Absolutely, happy to do it. Yeah, and again, the book is available wherever. And I always tell people, I say, support your local bookstore, support your local comic book store. A lot of comic book stores are supplying it because it's sort of comic book related, since Lloyd's sort of in that world too.
Of course,
still put a review on Amazon. I always say support your local bookstore, but still put a review on Amazon, because that helps beef up the recommendation algorithm. We're all trying to screw with Jeff Bezos because he sucks, but we do have to play the game, unfortunately. And one of the many lessons we learned from Lloyd Kaufman. But no, support your local bookstore, support your local comic book store. If they don't have it, have them order it, get you a copy. And it's available everywhere, though.
There we go. Brother, thank you for coming on, folks. Matt don't like the internets like that, but he does have a website, so you can check him out at Mathew Klickstein, and that's Mathew with one T, folks. Right?
This is true. This is true. Just one. It is true. That is.
Did you ever ask why?
So the story there, it's a true story. I didn't know that my name was only spelled one T until I got my driver's license, and the machine actually blew up. And then we went back to my birth certificate, and it turns out it was spelled, and it is legally Mathew with one T. And I kept it because I always thought my name was really common, and so this makes it a little more unique. And B, believe it or not, there is another Mathew Klickstein in the world with two T's. He's a musician in Brooklyn. We've never met. We've never talked to each other. He's a long-distance cousin, but there is a Mathew Klickstein with two T's. And so this way I'm kind of distinct from him. I think that if we ever came together, we'd probably disrupt the space-time continuum.
That would be a cool band. Matt and Matt, one T.
Matt, two Matts too many. But yeah, no, it really my mom had me in my house when where I was born, because she was afraid of doctors stuff. I was vaccinated and all that. But she had a midwife come, and I think what happened was the midwife misspelled my name on my birth certificate. But legally, that is how it's spelled, and then I've just kept it like that over the years. So
my birth certificate was spelled correctly, but Social Security got it wrong, and they spelled my name Alexander, XS.
Oh my goodness! See,
yeah, I had to change that shit because I had it. I was like, "Yo, my birth." They're like, "Well, what spelling you want?" I'm like, "I was the one on my fucking birth certificate." What you mean, what spelling I want?
Yeah. the machine. This is what a lot of the book is about too. And Lloyd Kaufman too. He talks about all the foibles in the machine, just like at the beginning of Terry Gilliam's movie Brazil. So same thing.
Right here, folks, this wonderful book right here, which is in shops right now. All right, so you go to Amazon, go to your favorite bookstore, go to your comic shop, just like my man Matt said, yo. But check it out. This is a legend, man. Let me tell you, this will keep you laughing for sure. There's a lot of stuff. It's wild. There's some shit you gotta make you like, whoa. He's definitely a freedom of press, a freedom of speech fighter out there that has great values. And even though you see his flicks, you think he bugging. Nah, bro. My man is really deep, insightful, a wonderful human being, right here. Wow. It's like there's so much I didn't know, and it's like great to see all that come out. And I'm like, wow, this man, a hustler. He never took no for an answer. So that's what I'm saying. King of Schlock, indie king, indie boss, and for you to handle that madness. My gosh.
It was a lot. That's why it took me, even though it was other people's interviews, it took me a long time to go through them all and to clean them up and make sure things were right. And I annotated it, because Lloyd does obviously like to spin some. He's got what David Mamet would call a gift for fiction. So sometimes, I wanted to allow some of that in the book, but I also wanted to make sure, because it is a scholarly text. It's it's university press, that there's footnotes that kind of say what actually happened.
I know. I see though. That's something again. Before we do want to mention first, when you read the book, every chapter then you see at the right bottom notes and it does dictate and give you some insightful, cool shit for real. I was reading. I was like, oh man, all right, that's funny. And I chuckled. So I'm like, okay, this man is crazy.
yeah. Lloyd is definitely crazy, but in the best possible way. And the only other thing I'll say, I mean, it's like we were just saying, he just wrapped his new movie, and he's 80 years old. Yeah. That's the real age. He really is 80. Right. And I mean, the man keeps going, and he's still traveling all over the world, and he goes to film festivals, and he goes to comic conventions, and the guy does not stop. So he's going to be making movies and doing all these things until he drops, and that's just the way that it is. So it's part of what's really cool about him is he just keeps going.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Matt, and thank you, Lloyd. Your battery died or whatever happened there, but thank you for your time. But thank you, Matt, as well.
Yeah, I'll tell Lloyd. Thank you. He appreciates it.
This book is live right here, baby. So follow my man Matt right there, MathewKlickstein.com. All right, and of course check my man Lloyd out at Lloyd Kaufman on X. All right, Troma's on YouTube, which is TromaMovies. All right, you can check that on YouTube. You can see a lot of cool movies. Some of them free right there. We also saw a website, Troma.com, and the other one is Troma Direct, baby. $5 a month, right? That's the one, $5 a month. Troma Direct.
Yeah, Troma Now is the streaming service. Yeah, and you can get it through Roku and Freevee and all this stuff. I mean, I got it on my TV right there with Max and Hulu and whatnot. I mean, I'm not just kidding. It's a good streaming service. I've had it even before I did the book, and it's not just Troma movies you can see on there. It's all the other movies that they've distributed over the years from different countries, and some of them are silent. All the basket case movies and all these other films. So it's plus you get all the behind the scenes little shorts and featurettes and whatnot, just like on Criterion Channel and whatnot. So it's a great streaming service. And for those in the cheap seats, it's only $5 a month, and you can get a 3-month free trial. So everyone should check it out. Troma Now. It really is, honestly. I'm not just saying it because I'm a friend of Lloyd's. I don't get any money saying this. I don't even get a free membership to it myself. And I've got some movies on there, but yeah, $5 a month, that's it. So yeah, everyone should check out Troma Now.
Excellent. There you go, folks. So thank everybody that tuned in, that was lurking. For Big Dan always saying hello. I appreciate you, but I see you guys. So again, appreciate Lloyd's time. Appreciate your time, you Crusaders' time, for tuning in, watching, and checking out what Lloyd has to say and Matt about this wonderful new book that is in fact out now again. So make sure you go get it right at your book shop. I'm gonna put some links below, some shops you can go to and go from there. So with that, hasta la próxima, mi gente. Much love. Wepa!
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.